Welcome to a deep dive by the Quiet Footnote. Today we're plunging into a book that, well, consistently challenges how we think about innovation and building something truly new. Peter Thiel's 0 to 1.
It's a fascinating one. Definitely gets you thinking differently.
Absolutely. Our mission here is really to pull out the most important uh, nuggets of knowledge and insight from the book itself. Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to getting informed.
Giving you those aha nubs.
Exactly, a fresh perspective on what creating something actually means. We'll unpack Thiel's core arguments, debunk some, widely held beliefs.
Oh, yeah. He loved doing that.
He does. We'll explore why his ideas might be even more critical today, especially with AI booming, and then distill the top 5 key takeaways. And importantly, connect this whole framework back to your own creative path.
And what's really interesting here is Thiel isn't just giving out standard business advice.
Yeah.
He's really proposing a fundamental shift in mindset, isn't he? Inviting us to look beyond the surface.
Yeah.
We'll try to explore that unheard message underneath it all and see how it might challenge or maybe affirm the way you approach your own unique creative work.
All right, let's get into it. So at its heart, what problem or, gap did Peter Thiel really aim to address with 0 to 1? What's his main idea, his central thesis?
Well, his core thesis is demanding, but it's actually pretty simple. He says going from 0 to 1 means creating something genuinely new. He saw this fundamental gap in how we even think about progress.
Okay.
He basically distinguishes between two types. There's horizontal progress, which he calls 1 to N. That's copying things, scaling them up, globalizing ideas that already exist.
Like more restaurants, more versions of the same app.
Exactly. More coffee shops, more social media clones. It's efficient, sure, but it doesn't truly advance society in a foundational way.
Right.
His focus then is on vertical progress, or 0 to 1. And that's the real innovation leap, creating something entirely new that just wasn't there before. This often leads to monopolies, but monopolies built on sheer uniqueness.
Okay, so that monopoly idea isn't inherently bad in his view.
Not the creative kind. His driving questions were things like, why are we so focused on competition instead of creation? What valuable thing is literally nobody building right now? And how can founders build lasting value instead of just, chasing the next trend? He's really pushing us, pushing founders, to seek out those genuinely new frontiers.
So he's trying to pull people away from the comfort zone of just copying stuff, doing what's already been done, and into the discomfort, but also the huge potential of actual invention.
Exactly that. It's the discomfort zone where the real value lies, according to him, not just refining the known.
That makes sense, especially when you look around and see so many Me Too products, like you said.
Yeah, the signal gets lost in the noise.
And Thiel is, well, he's known for flipping conventional wisdom on its head, almost provocative about it. What are some of the big myths or misconceptions he really tries to debunk in the book?
Oh, absolutely. He takes a metaphorical sledgehammer to several Silicon Valley sacred cows. The first one, and maybe the most jarring for a lot of people, is the myth that competition makes you stronger.
Right. That's what we're always told, healthy competition.
Exactly. But Thiel's rebuttal is sharp. He argues competition actually narrows your vision. It forces you to obsess over your rivals, making tiny incremental improvements instead of looking for breakthroughs.
Looking sideways instead of ahead.
Precisely. It kills your profit margins, traps you in someone else's game, and ultimately makes you look just like everyone else you're competing against. He argues true innovation comes from escaping competition entirely.
Oh.
By being so unique that you're basically in a category of one. Think about restaurants endlessly copying each other's menus. They rarely become industry game changers. His point is, if you find yourself competing head-to-head, you've already failed to be truly original.
Wow. Okay. So if your business plan is basically we're like X, but slightly better, Thiel would say you're starting off wrong.
That's pretty much it. Another huge one is the myth that monopolies are bad for society. This goes against, Basic Economics 101, right? We think monopolies mean stagnation, high prices, exploitation.
Yeah, the standard view.
But Thiel differentiates. He talks about innovation-driven monopolies. Think Google and search, maybe Apple and smartphones back in the day. He says these kinds of monopolies actually deliver better products and push whole industries forward.
How does that work?
Because their profits, their large margins, give them the financial cushion, the freedom to experiment, to invest heavily in R&D, take big long-term risks that companies locked in fierce competition just can't afford to take. So the right kind of monopoly, born from true uniqueness, isn't a parasite. It's actually a creative engine, good for society, not just for the company's bottom line.
That's a really interesting reframe. It suggests that dominant company isn't just sitting back, but has the freedom to innovate even more aggressively. What else?
Then there's the popular idea that first mover wins.
Mm.
Be the first one out there, grab the market share. Sounds logical.
Yeah, get there first.
But Thiel argues that being the last mover is actually far more valuable. And by last mover, he doesn't mean the latest one to show up. He means the one who perfects the product, builds a truly defensible position, a moat, and ultimately dominates the category for the long run.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like Google wasn't the first search engine.
Exactly. Alta Vista, Lycos, they were there first. Microsoft wasn't the first operating system. But Google and Microsoft became the last movers because they built something better, more enduring, and figured out how to scale and defend their position.
Got it. Enduring dominance is the goal, not just being first at the gate.
Right. He also takes aim at the idea that success is mostly luck. It's comforting to think that, right? But while luck obviously plays some role, Thiel insists that lasting success, the kind that builds a 0-to-1 company, is overwhelmingly the result of deliberate design, intense focus, and relentless execution, not just random chance.
So less about stumbling into greatness.
And more about intentional architecture. He'd point to Bill Gates deliberately positioning Microsoft, or the strategic choices Facebook made. It wasn't just, the stars aligning.
Okay. Makes sense. Any others?
Yeah, one more big one, especially for creators. The myth that great products sell themselves. We often want to believe that if we just build something amazing, the world will beat a path to our door.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
Right. But Thiel is adamant. Distribution and a smart sales strategy are just as vital as the product itself, maybe even more so. Without a plan to get it out there, even revolutionary inventions can just wither and die unnoticed.
So the build it and they will come idea is flawed.
Deeply flawed in his view. He uses PayPal's early growth through eBay users as an example. That viral adoption wasn't an accident, it was engineered. They figured out these incentives, the channels. So he's essentially tearing down all that common, safe advice that leads to average outcomes in crowded fields.
And replacing it with a mindset that prizes uniqueness and very deliberate, almost calculated planning.
Exactly. Ruthless planning, you might even say.
Okay, we've covered the what and the why of his core ideas and myth-busting, but I'm curious. Thiel wrote this back in 2014. How do these ideas land now in 2025, especially with AI just exploding and all the global shifts happening? Does the book still feel relevant?
Oh, absolutely. If anything, I'd argue his core ideas have become even more urgent, almost prophetic, actually.
That's so.
Well, just look at the current AI landscape. We're absolutely drowning in AI-powered productivity apps, right? Endless clones of short video platforms, slight variations on existing services.
It feels like iteration overload sometimes.
Exactly. Thiel's point that most companies just focus on making existing things slightly better, that 1 to N iteration, instead of creating genuinely new things 0 to 1, feels incredibly sharp right now. We are swimming in iteration.
It's a sea of sameness in some areas.
It really is. And the competition, it's fiercer than ever. In today's algorithm-driven world, everyone's basically fighting for the same tiny sliver of attention, the same resources. So differentiation isn't just a nice strategy anymore. It's basically survival.
So his call to escape competition is even more critical now.
It's like a survival manual. Plus, the power law he talks about, where a tiny number of ventures produce the vast majority of returns, that effect is massively amplified by digital networks. Winner take all is more pronounced. Spreading your resources thinly is just deadly. Extreme focus is absolutely paramount.
So the more crowded the world gets, the more valuable true originality becomes.
Precisely. And think about secrets, those unique opportunities Thiel talks about. They still exist, but they vanish unbelievably fast now. Information spreads instantly. Unique insights get spotted and copied almost overnight.
So you have to act fast and build defenses quickly.
You got it. Act quickly and build defensibility around your unique insight. And finally, his idea about technology and humans working best together, not one replacing the other. That's being tested right now at massive scale with AI.
The human-AI collaboration piece.
Yeah. The companies that will really endure the future monopolies won't just be the ones using the most AI. They'll be the ones who figure out that perfect synergy where human creativity and AI efficiency combine to create something truly unique and hard to replicate.
So it's really not just a founder's guide anymore. It's almost essential reading for anyone trying to create something meaningful that lasts longer than the current trend cycle.
I really think so. It's a framework for navigating this incredibly noisy, iterative world we're in.
Okay, that's a really strong case for its continued relevance. So let's distill this. If we had to boil 0 to 1 down to the 5 most impactful principles Peter Thiel wants us, the readers, to internalize, what are the absolute non-negotiables, the actionable blueprint?
All right, the 5 principles that should really stick with you. Think of it as a kind of manifesto.
Lay it on us.
First, escape competition, build monopoly. This is the bedrock. Competing head-on in crowded markets just destroys value for everyone involved. Thiel's radical idea is create something so fundamentally unique, it's hard to copy. That gives you the power, the freedom to innovate without constantly looking over your shoulder.
That famous line, competition is for losers.
Exactly. It's provocative, but the point is to get out of the competitive rat race for your unique thing. Second, ask the contrarian question. The best opportunities, the real secrets, are hiding in truths most people just overlook or maybe even actively reject.
Challenge the consensus.
Right. His key question here is, what important truth do very few people agree with you on? It's not about being difficult. It's about finding those genuinely undervalued insights that others miss.
Okay, number 3.
Third, focus on the power law. This is all about resource allocation. Thiel saw, especially in venture capital, but it applies elsewhere, that a tiny fraction of bets drive the overwhelming majority of results.
Like his Facebook investment.
Precisely. His own $500K seed investment in Facebook ended up being worth billions, dwarfing everything else combined. So the principle is, concentrate your resources, your time, money, energy, where the potential upside is truly massive. Don't spread yourself thin across lots of average opportunities.
Makes sense. Prioritize ruthlessly. Number 4.
Fourth, design for the last mover advantage. Forget being first. The real goal isn't just launching. It's being the one who perfects the offering, builds an enduring system around it, and dominates the category for the long haul.
So build to last, not just to launch.
Exactly. That means deliberately building in advantages like a strong brand, powerful network effect, proprietary tech, economies of scale, things that make you incredibly hard to displace over time.
Okay, and the final one.
And number 5, plan deliberately. Success isn't random. Breakthrough companies, the 0 to 1 types, aren't just lucky lottery wins, they are engineered. This means being intentional about everything. The company culture, clear distribution plans, building those defensible advantages we just talked about.
That other quote comes to mind. A bad plan is better than no plan.
That's the one. It's a call for extreme intentionality, extreme thoughtfulness in every single aspect of what you're building.
Wow. That's an incredibly potent summary. It really does feel less like a standard business book and much more like a manifesto for actively creating the future, pushing you to ignore the noise and build something truly unique. Now, let's try and bring this right home to you, the listener. As you think about your own creative path, maybe you're blending genres like Indian classical with Western harmony. Maybe you're curating deep reflections on books, maybe experimenting with music daily. How does a book like 0 to 1 affirm what you're already doing? And maybe more importantly, where does it challenge you to be even bolder?
That's a great question. For someone on that kind of path, this book would likely affirm quite a lot, actually. Your natural pull towards a 0 to 1 approach, creating daily music sketches that aren't just following trends or writing narrative pieces, blending mysticism, philosophy, your personal voice, that really aligns directly with Thiel's core message, originality over imitation.
So it validates leaning into uniqueness.
Absolutely. And if your goal is to build a unique musical fusion niche, something nobody else quite owns, that fits perfectly with his monopoly philosophy, you're not trying to compete in an existing category. You're aiming to create your own category.
Defining your own space.
Exactly. And that resistance you might feel to just optimizing everything for algorithms, focusing instead on the depth and quality of the work, that echoes his last mover advantage idea. You're implicitly thinking about long-term, enduring value, not just fleeting algorithm-driven wins.
So it's like getting validation for taking the path less traveled, creatively speaking. But where's the challenge? Where does it push you or anyone on a similar path out of the comfort zone?
Well, it definitely pushes.
Yeah.
Thiel's lesson on the power law, for instance, really suggests narrowing your focus. It might challenge you, instead of spreading creative energy across, say, 10 different projects, to really double down on the 1 or 2 flagship things that have truly massive, unique potential.
Concentrate the firepower.
Right. Concentrate. Also, while you clearly have an instinctive, unique style, Thiel would likely push you to codify your secret. What is the unique truth you're building on? What hidden gap does your specific music or writing fill? Articulate it, understand it, and then protect that uniqueness fiercely. Don't just rely on instinct.
Make the implicit explicit.
Precisely. And he would definitely challenge the romantic notion that quality alone finds its audience. He'd argue very strongly that you need to engineer distribution. Think about it as deliberately, as creatively as you think about the art itself. How does it reach the people it's meant for?
That's often the hardest part for creators.
It is. And finally, he'd push you to move faster on your boldest bets. Remember his line, brilliant thinking is rare, but courage is an even shorter supply than genius.
Courage is the bottleneck.
Yeah. Courage, in Thiel's view, means having the conviction to launch something, to put it out there before everyone agrees it's great, even if it feels raw or maybe people won't get it at first. It's about releasing that unconventional track, publishing that challenging piece.
So it's both a validating nod towards the unique path you're already on and a pretty direct, pragmatic nudge forward. It's saying, keep going down that unique road, but sharpen your focus, understand why it's unique, and build the delivery system for it just as carefully as you build the creation itself.
That's a great way to put it. Walk the road, but with sharper shoes and fewer unnecessary detours. Make your niche unmistakably yours.
As we wrap up this deep dive, maybe we should consider the unheard message beneath Peter Thiel's words. It feels like there's something more philosophical going on than just business strategy.
I think you're right. The underlying message seems to be that the world doesn't just need more participants playing the same old games, maybe slightly better. It desperately needs people willing and courageous enough to design entirely new games.
And stick with them.
And stick with them long enough to actually change the rules, to shift the landscape for everyone else. It's almost presented as, well, a call for originality, as a kind of moral responsibility. Don't just iterate, invent.
So for you listening, maybe this means finding the courage to finally release that really raw, unconventional track you've been holding on to. Or publishing that piece of writing that doesn't neatly fit into any algorithm-friendly box, but feels utterly and completely yours.
Yeah. It's about taking that unique vision you have and giving it the deliberate design, the focused execution, and the thoughtful distribution it truly deserves if you wanted to create something genuinely new in the world.
Which leads to maybe a final question for you to think about.
What's the single 0 to 1 project? Something only you could really imagine and bring into existence maybe in the next few months. And crucially, following Thiel's advice, what's the first concrete, maybe even contrarian step you could take this week to start making it real?
We hope this deep dive into 0 to 1 has sparked some new insights, maybe giving you a powerful framework to apply to your own creative journey. Until next time, keep asking those contrarian questions.